What's up, guys? Back with another Sticknodes pro video, and today I'm going to be showing you all my animations. I was just making this one, and he just not really sure like that. But I'm about to open my project. What's it? Bravo. What's that? I don't remember this. Oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I might say it's that because it kind of is. And like, okay. Yeah. This is the thing I just made. What's this?
Unless you have an injury that requires I'm Dr. John. The first place you go.
So yeah, this was by me. And I'm about to make another one. The Subaru Forester, the SUV for all you love. At Anderson Subaru, Highway 29, just north of Park City, Pensacola.
Subaru for you, Subaru for you. Anderson's got a Subaru for you.
So,
I went through a four-way stop and this guy just T-boned me. So I called the Long Brothers, and they turned the insurance company's $20,000 offer into $175,000.
Call us. We're the Long Brothers.
Now accepting Zantac cases.
Families are reeling right now, enduring illness, losing their employers.
Yeah, let me put this one.
They need lifelines now. My plan lowers healthcare costs, gets us universal coverage quickly when Americans desperately need it. This is my promise to you. When I'm president, I will take care of your healthcare coverage and your family
like
the
this.
same way I would my own. I'm Joe Biden.
I'm gonna upload his level.
Well, hello, Winn-Dixie. Let's get our weekend sale on. Roasted butt roast are just 99 cents a pound, and watermelons are just $3.99. Love soaking up the last of these summer savings. Winn-Dixie, it's a win-win.
The prime suspect in the death of a right-wing activist in Portland, Oregon, killed by federal agents overnight.
And then go at extra text.
ABC's Rena Roy has the latest found.
Authorities have been on the hunt for 48-year-old Michael Reinell since last Saturday, overnight tracking him down at his home in Lacey, Washington, where police say he got in his car to try and escape as they moved in to arrest him. U.S. Marshals
I keep on saying A.
So they opened fire, killing the alleged demonstrator.
There was a confrontation between the officers that were on scene and the subject. The information we have at this time is that the subject was armed. There was shots that were fired into the vehicle, and the subject fled from the vehicle, at which time there was additional shots that were fired.
Police say he was a suspect in the fatal shooting of right-wing activist Aaron J. Danielson, who was seen wearing a Blue Lives Matter flag as he was part of a pro-Trump caravan that drove through Portland with a group of 600 vehicles last week to counter Black Lives Matter protesters. Just hours before Reinell died, Vice News released this interview in which he appeared to take responsibility for the shooting, claiming it was in self-defense. The father of two, an Army veteran, telling the news outlet he acted as security at Black Lives Matter protests.
I felt that my life and other people around me's lives were in danger. And I felt like I had no choice but to do what I did. Totally justified. Had I not acted, I am confident
I'm gonna make
my
him.
friend and I'm sure I would have been killed.
Today, Attorney General William Barr releasing a statement calling Reinl an admitted Antifa member and suspected murderer, saying in part the actions of law enforcement were a significant accomplishment in the ongoing effort to restore law and order to Portland and other cities. Reinl had not been charged with any crimes, and protests in Portland against the city and its police force are now in their 100th day. Rena Roy, ABC News, San Francisco.
7 Rochester police
And
officers
then
now suspended following protests
go
over
make
the death of
this
a black man.
with
The officers were all either involved or at the scene when Daniel Prude was subdued in March. Prude died several days after his encounter with police. His family says they called authorities for help when Prude was having a mental health episode. Video shows the officers pinning him down until he became unresponsive. The medical examiner calls Prude's death a homicide, ruling that he died for complications of asphyxia in the setting of physical restraint, excited delirium, and PCP.
I have addressed with the police chief how deeply and personally and professionally disappointed I am for him failing to fully and accurately inform me
okay.
about what occurred
So
with Mr. Prude.
The mayor claims that she wasn't
this
made aware of the officer's actions until
and
body
then
cam video was released last month. She says police chief told her
hot
Prude died from an
hit.
overdose while in custody. Meanwhile, the chief disputing the mayor's account, saying that he ordered criminal and criminal investigations into this incident. The mayor's decision to suspend the officers with pay, or suspend the officers with pay rather, came after city council members calling for her to step down. As we head into the
Yep.
holiday weekend, health experts are warning
So
against
that's
large
it.
gathering after seeing an influx in coronavirus infections following Memorial Day and 4th of July weekend. ABC's Ramina Puga has more.
A grim projection. The CDC predicts there will be nearly 30,000 more COVID deaths by the end of the month. The race for a vaccine all the more urgent, but the nation's leading coronavirus expert saying that November 1st date may be possible, but it is not likely.
I think it's unlikely, but I think we can get it.
Surgeon General Jerome Adams clarifying the call for governors to prepare for that November date.
It's not just about having a vaccine that is safe and effective. It's about being ready to distribute it. Because what I would hate is for us to have a vaccine, but it still not get to the people who most need it.
Dr. Monsef Slawi of Operation Warp Speed says whenever a vaccine is ready, they will have enough to vaccinate 20 to 25 million people.
And then we will ramp up the manufacturing to immunize the U.S. population by the middle of 2021.
So it could look like it's slow
In
motion.
Texas, Freddie Guerrero was one of 20 family members to get the virus. He spent 62 days in the hospital, having to learn to walk and talk all over again. But this week, he got to go home.
Welcome home, baby. You get to sleep in your own bed tonight. We love you, brother.
Heading into Labor Day weekend, health experts warn Americans to stay vigilant and avoid large gatherings.
We hit a peak in this country on July 24th, which was about 2 to 3 weeks after the 4th of July.
8 universities in the U.S. are now reporting more than 1,000
Yep.
cases of COVID on campus. Sumi Oniata has
It's
sent their
okay.
students home after reporting
Looking
almost
good so
400
far.
COVID cases since the start of the fall semester.
I kind of thought it was going to happen, but I think it's going to happen this soon.
And
Boom.
more news on vaccines. Developed by
Boom, boom,
Moderna is
boom.
slowing enrollment in its phase 3 trials to ensure it has sufficient representation of those most at risk for the virus.
And then
Enrolling the elderly, communities of color, and people with underlying health conditions is a priority. In North Carolina, Romina Puga, ABC News.
I love you.
The Russian Direct Investment Fund now saying
Teleport.
results from their clinical trial of the country's vaccine confirm its highest safety and efficacy. The results from the trials were published in the medical journal The Lancet today, claiming to show immune responses generated in dozens of subjects. Moscow's mayor now announcing mass vaccine trials will begin next week with more than 5,000 volunteers already registered. The mayor
So
also noted that he was taking part in the trials himself.
I unblow him.
The first shot.
Certainly looking good.
First warning weather, sponsored by Pensacola State College.
Let's get an update now. The skies. Alan, happy Friday to you. We're looking at a good weekend. Hey, definitely. It's an area You know, it's the unofficial end of summer. I always hate to see the summer season end. I never mind the end of hurricane season. You know, we can just let that one pass over. But yeah, it's you know, it's kind of closing in on us. However, it's not going to be cooling down anytime soon. Maybe next week we'll see a little change. Love this view here as we check out the beach scene, and it looks kind of busy down there this Friday. I'm sure it will be a busy beach weekend here. There's our Hardee's cam. If you're inland, you're dealing with some hotter temperatures, mid to low 90s there right now. Well, even low 90s here around places like Fort Walton Beach and Pensacola. You take it out to those barrier islands, and that's where the temperatures are in the 80s. You know, probably around 87, 88 degrees or so right now. And that little breeze off the water makes it feel that much cooler, and it's nice there. If you are headed down there, we are looking at a low risk of rip currents over the weekend. Always glad to report that. It's usually people from out of town that get caught up in those rip currents around here, and it looks like we're going to be doing okay this weekend when it comes to that. So always still the lifeguards suggest swimming on a beach where the lifeguards are on a guarded beach. All right, I've got a full report coming up in just a little bit, and I'll discuss what's happening in the tropics. The Gulf looks great. We're fine there, but we have these waves way out over the Atlantic, and we'll be watching those, so I'll show you a little bit more on that coming up. We have had a bit of rain around, kind of between, I'd say, Cressu and Niceville and those areas. Near Duke Field, a bit of rain, also around Freeport and Walton County, so that's where we've seen a few showers. Bit of thunder and lightning. Those are kind of moving on, though, and we're likely to see dry weather for the rest of the area. So a lot of spots just plain sunny right now, and this is the way things are looking this weekend. A few areas might see a little pop-up shower. The damage still being tallied. The death toll still rising. More than a week after Hurricane Laura stormed ashore in Louisiana. A very powerful Category 4 storm, just the latest monster hurricane to hit the United States. In recent years, we've been seeing a raft of bigger, stronger, more destructive hurricanes.
We're in bad trouble. I get that. I mean, but right here we can climb up the side of this house. From what I've seen in pictures where bombs were dropped, that's kind of looking like what it looks like here.
The new class of powerful hurricanes are superstorms. We'll show you the devastation, the unbelievable images, and the incredible stories.
Let me see how it looks so far, guys. Let me see how it looks so far.
New today, President Trump and his campaign pushing back on an explosive article in the Atlantic, alleging he repeatedly made disparaging comments about fallen U.S. troops. All of these accusations came from anonymous sources, and the president and others who worked in the White House have vehemently denied them. ABC's Faith Abube is in Washington now with the latest.
President Donald Trump forcefully denying explosive allegations made in the Atlantic magazine that he disparaged U.S. soldiers who were killed and wounded in combat.
But it was a totally fake story, and that was confirmed by many people who were actually there. It was a terrible thing that somebody could say the kind of things, that, especially to me, because I've done more for the military than almost anybody else.
ABC News has not independently verified the reporting which appeared in the Atlantic Thursday night and is not detailing the alleged comments attributed to unidentified sources. The writer, Jeffrey Goldberg, on MSNBC this morning.
I think he's genuinely confused by service. I do think that these comments are in line with a general and publicly stated outlook about the importance of material gain, the importance of not being a loser.
The anonymous accusations in Goldberg's report do echo some disparaging comments about military service the president made about the late Senator John McCain in 2015. McCain was tortured for 5.5 years as a POW after his plane was shot down over Vietnam.
He's a war hero because he was captured. I like people that weren't captured, okay? I hate to tell you.
Progressive veterans group VoteVets.org quickly responded to the report on Twitter with a video of Gold Star parents speaking for their fallen children.
My stepson was not a loser. My son, Matthew, is not a loser.
Former Vice President Joe Biden saying, if the revelations in the Atlantic article are true,
just a marker of how deeply President Trump and I disagree about the role of the President of the United States of America.
But the president, his campaign, and the White House all united in expressing their outrage, with the White House press office tweeting there wasn't a soul brave enough to put their name on any of these accusations because
look, guys.
It's a disgrace that they're allowed to do.
Public spats with in the past. In 2016, the father of a fallen U.S. soldier. In 2017, the wife of a fallen U.S. soldier allegedly killed her husband in Washington. are in Washington with why some
That's how it looks.
I'm 70 and I live in Northern California. I love to be outside. I have jaybirds that come body good nutrition. I heard about Prevagen and I heard about the research behind it.
Yeah, guys, so that's how it turned out.
Think clearly. My memory is failing.
That's all I'm going to show you. And yeah.
I've ever taken.
Prevagen, healthier.